Nobody likes failing. Let's be honest. It's frustrating. It's humbling. It can make you question yourself in ways success never does. Failure has a way of exposing everything. Your weaknesses, your habits, your excuses, your lack of preparation, your lack of patience. And that's exactly why it matters so much. Because failure doesn't just hurt. Failure reveals what needs work. It reveals where your mindset is weak. It reveals whether you really want it, or if you just like the idea of it. That's why failure is valuable. Not because it feels good, but because it tells the truth. Winning feels amazing, but winning doesn't always teach you much. Sometimes you win and still have bad habits. Sometimes you win and still avoid your weak areas. Sometimes you win and never truly fix the parts of you that need fixing. But failure forces you to look in the mirror. It forces honesty. It forces reflection. It forces growth. And growth is uncomfortable. That's why so many people avoid it. Because they don't want to feel behind. They don't want to feel exposed. They don't want to face the reality that they still have work to do. But that reality is where transformation begins. You don't get better by pretending you've already arrived. You get better by being honest enough to admit where you still need work. That's what failure gives you, a mirror. And if you're mature enough to learn from what it shows you, it can change your life. Every loss has a lesson in it. Every setback has information in it. Every mistake is trying to teach you something if your ego doesn't get in the way. That's the key. Ego will make you defensive. Growth will make you listen. So when you fail, don't just feel it. Study it. Ask yourself, what did this expose? What did this teach me? What do I need to improve? What version of me would have handled this better? Those are the questions that build winners. Because failure only destroys people who refuse to learn from it. But for the person who is willing to learn, failure becomes fuel. It becomes wisdom. It becomes strength. It becomes preparation for the level you're trying to reach. So no, failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher. And if you stop taking it personally, you can start using it powerfully.
You have to lose your fear of failure. Really lose it. Because fear of failure has stopped more people than failure ever could. Think about that. Most people are not held back by lack of talent. They're not held back by lack of opportunity. They're held back by the fear of looking stupid, the fear of getting it wrong, the fear of trying and not becoming who they hoped they'd be. So they play it safe. They stay small. They wait for certainty. They wait for confidence. They wait for the perfect time. And while they're waiting, life keeps moving. Listen carefully. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the process. It always has been. It always will be. Every person you admire has failed more times than most people are willing to try. That's the difference. Winners are not people who never fall. Winners are people who fall, learn, adjust, and get back up stronger. People who never fail usually never try. Because the only way to avoid failure completely is to avoid growth completely. And that is a much bigger loss. You have to fail. You have to get it wrong to get it right. have to miss. You have to struggle. You have to go through the uncomfortable process of becoming. Because nobody starts great. Nobody begins polished. Nobody shows up on day one already fully built. That's not how greatness works. Greatness is earned through mistakes, through repetition, through embarrassment, through trying again after it didn't go your way. And that is where real strength is built. You learn nothing from winning all the time. Winning can hide your weaknesses. Winning can make you comfortable. Winning can trick you into thinking you've arrived. But failure tells the truth. Failure shows you where you're weak. Failure shows you where you need discipline. Failure shows you where you need patience. Failure forces you to grow. And if you let it, failure will build you into someone stronger than success ever could. So stop fearing it. Stop running from it. Stop treating failure like it means something is wrong with you. Sometimes failure is not a sign that you're off track. Sometimes failure is proof that you're finally in the arena. And that means you're closer than most people will ever be.